JD5's him. JD5 is him.
Let him cook.
Got him.
JD5 was an absolute monster in this game. We've got Christian McCaffrey news. If you missed that, we'll go over that in a second. He's seeing a specialist in Germany. Not looking good for Christian McCaffrey. But this is not about McCaffrey. This is about JD5. This is about one of the fives. And JD5 was magnificent. Magnificent in this game. 21 of 23. Highest completion percentage for a rookie quarterback ever in a game. This guy was all over the place. And you know how many times I heard hate when we said on this channel that he would be better than Lamar Jackson on every single level. Running the ball, especially passing the ball, protecting the ball, and winning. And how many times did someone come in here and go, did you hear this guy? JD5 hasn't even taken a snap yet. As if this isn't what we're trying to accomplish here, is predicting what the future holds. This kid's going to get better at every single turn. He's just getting started. He is just scratching the surface. He's not even scoring a whole lot of yardage points. He's running the ball. Obviously looked fantastic, threading the needle on that very clutch McLaurin touchdown dime. And if you saw McLaurin, look, we got rare footage of McLaurin on the sideline after he finally has a quarterback that's throwing the ball. He barely has time left. He's about 87 years old, McLaurin. He doesn't have a lot of time left. He finally gets his quarterback who threaded the needle on that touchdown. This is rare footage. Rare footage of McLaurin on the sideline right here. Let me play it for you.
Let him cook.
He was walking up and down the sideline. It almost looked like he had some sort of tick going on, because he's like, ah! He's just walking down the sideline. He was walking, and he'd take a couple steps, and he'd go, ah! And he'd go down, he'd walk a few more feet, and go, ah! He was so excited. He was so excited he couldn't contain himself. I'm so happy for McLaurin. I don't know what this means for McLaurin walking into the next handful of weeks. We're clearly excited for him. We're hopeful. Ah! We're hopeful. He had to shake himself awake. He was done celebrating, and then all of a sudden he go, ah! It's just absolutely excited for McLaurin. But JD5 is scratching the surface. Barely. This could be, honestly, the best quarterback in the league 2 years from now. It wouldn't shock me at all. Now, this man might have something to say about that, because Josh Allen was cooking tonight. 4 touchdowns. This is one of those games where he had so many scores in the first half. You're like, this is going to be one of those games where he doesn't get a chance to replicate it in the second half, because this was an 8 touchdown, pace game. But Josh Allen was absolutely phenomenal. Hitting Keon Coleman. Yeah, it was only one target. All you Debbie Downers and upset Ungers and party pooper Peters that are going to come in here and go, hey, he didn't get enough targets though, Smitty. At least he got a score. At least he's now scratching the surface as well. Keon Coleman, very excited for what Keon Coleman was able to do in this game. And it's going to get better from here. It's going to get way better from here. But let's first go to this Washington Commander box score and just take a little gander at the stats right here in the box score. Let's be a box score Bobby for just a second. And, Zach Moss got some garbage work at the end, 58 yards and a touchdown. Chase Brown got the most yards on the ground out of the running back stable, which was nice to see Chase Brown get some work. But here's the box score. Let's become a box score Bobby for just a second and indulge in some fantasy football greatness right here. on screen. Jayden Daniels, 2 passing touchdowns, 21 of 23. If this guy does one thing properly, if you had to define JD5 in one sense, it would be protecting the mother freaking football. Looking at JD5's player card here, this man in college had 40 passing touchdowns on top of 10 rushing touchdowns in his final season. 1134 on the ground, 38-12 passing, 50 total touchdowns, 4 INTs. He's a protector of the football. And when I said to people he's the best pocket passer to come out of college in the last decade, people ran their mouth because they don't know ball. And they, Smitty, that's ridiculous. Best pocket passer. He can't be. He's a running quarterback, Smitty. But all the stats said it. No one wanted to listen. 67% completion percentage on 20-plus yard throws in 2023. The best in the last decade in FBS. Last 3 games, he had 11 TDs and 0 INTs from inside the pocket. This man threw 35 of his 40 touchdowns inside the pocket. JD5 is him.
Let him cook.
Just ask Lucille. JD5 is him. He is him. Josh Allen's him as well. There are 2 hims on this screen right here. 12 carries for 39 yards and an additional touchdown. That's 3 scores for those of you counting. 39 rushing yards. 3 total scores. Finally McLaurin gets his 100-yard game. 4 receptions, 100 and a touch. Jamar Chase had a day on the other side of the football. 118 yards on 6 catches, 2 touchdowns. Yoshi Voss, 52 and a touch. T. Higgins, underwhelming, 3 for 39. Chase Brown led the team in rushing yards, 8.9 a pop. Maybe we're seeing something happen here and develop here. 7 carries, 62 yards. Zach Moss got the important touches at the end of the game. 12 carries, 58 in that touchdown at the end. Zach Moss also caught 5 balls for 39. So Zach Moss had a good day. He had a real good day. But we're seeing something out of Chase Brown. We're seeing a bust-cuff situation for that cuffing duo that we've talked about on this board over and over and over. For those that missed out on Mason, Garendo, McCaffrey, if you have Mason right now and Garendo's on the waiver wire, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is the same rinse and repeat mistake you may have made when McCaffrey went down. You didn't have Jordan Mason. If you own Jordan Mason, he, Garendo, is the Mason to Jordan Mason, like Mason was the Mason to Christian McCaffrey. If that makes sense. You carry the flux capacitor, multiply it by 2, and you get the equation, which is pick up mother freaking Garendo right now. Because this guy's going to see a specialist, which we'll get to in a second. This is a JD5 celebration. JD5 to the mother freaking moon. Dare I say this man will be a top 1 to 4 quarterback next year. Dare I say he flirts with top 5, 6, 7 all season long. Dare I say he maybe does even better than that in 2025. Maybe he's the number 1 overall fantasy football quarterback. The reason why we have to be very careful not to overhype him, but at the same time not underhype him or undersell him, is that this man right here, the guy he's chasing to be the number 1 overall fantasy football quarterback, period. I mean, there's no argument here that this guy, year after year, last year number 1, year before that number 2, year before that number 1, year before that number 1, year before that number 6, and then he was a rookie, right? This guy, Jayden Daniels, and it's a little bit easier league now to come out and play well your rookie year. But this guy, Jayden Daniels, is a rookie. Josh Allen was an absolute laughingstock of the league. Not to me. Josh Allen, before he took an actual snap, quarterbacks are my wheelhouse. I might miss from time to time. Sometimes the coaches will let me down. And I got to take the L on that because I should see the coach, screwing it up, whatever. But this man, I went on CBS and NBC Sports Radio before he took a snap and said he's a top 1 to 5 quarterback. Not top 5, top 1 to 5. This guy, top 1 to 5. Said that on my show all year long. This guy is going to explode. He's just scratching the surface. To think that this is where he levels out at, that's what people are going to make a mistake right now doing, saying, I don't think he'll be as good as Josh Allen at some point. He's doing really good. I mean, this is the beginning. He's learning. He's the defensive reading defenses. It should not be this natural to him. He's out there, especially last week. There was a play where he read the defense perfectly, realized that he was going to have about a 5 or 6 yard rip up the gut by Brian Robinson Jr. on an audible, hands the ball off to him, absolutely no one there. And JD5 knowing how to audible out of a certain situation at this juncture in his rookie career is remarkable. This guy reads defenses, switches things up. They give him the responsibility. He commands everybody out there. The whole team respects him. They look at him like he's a 2 or 3 year veteran. Everyone gives him the respect as if he's a 2 or 3 year veteran. In his interviews, carries himself. He's the first person in the building, the last person to leave. When he's practicing week in and week out, he did this all through the offseason. He's remarkable. He's remarkable. This young man is going to be a top 1 to 5 QB. This is why the Chicago Bears are the Chicago Bears. And they drafted the wrong quarterback, as your boy said from the jump. And thank God they did, because I don't know how far behind he'd be. I think he'd still thrive. He's that good. But he would be way behind if he was sitting over in Chicago, behind that putrid offensive line with that awful offensive coordinator and horrible decision-making from the top down over there in Chicago. They don't know how to build quarterbacks. They don't know how to support them. They don't know how to draft for them. They don't know how to do anything when it comes to developing quarterbacks. Kingsbury does. Adam Peters from San Francisco, the new GM of Washington, comes over from San Francisco after drafting George Kittle late in the draft, drafting Brock Purdy late in the draft. And if you remember during Super Bowl week when Adam Peters was interviewed as the new GM over in Washington, they said, how do you feel about this and that? And he said, I'm very excited about being where I'm at. And he ended the interview saying, now I got to go find my next Brock Purdy. And when he said that, it put to bed any arguments that he wasn't a heavy hand in the Brock Purdy search. This Adam Peters knows what in the hell he's doing. Trust Adam Peters. He didn't want Ayuk. Look at Ayuk now. What a waste of money and waste of space. You pay the guy, he disappears and vanishes. Adam Peters knew. Trust in Adam Peters. I need a shirt that says hashtag trust in Adam Peters, because he knows ball. And you got to trust him. He knows ball. He knew to stay away. He knew that Ayuk would mess with the development of JD. JD needed to find his own way. He didn't need to bring his friends along to pull him into tendencies. He needed to have a clean slate. And that's what Adam Peters knew. We mentioned that too, that if Adam Peters felt that way, we need to respect it. Adam Peters knows ball. JD5 knows ball. Let's go over to the other side of the Joe Burrow real quickly. Joe Burrow had a nice little day, at the end of it. It was nice to see Joe Burrow have a 3-touchdown affair, 29 of 38, 324. I mean, he had a really good day. He really did. You can't take anything away from Joe Burrow. He feels back. Jamar Chase, good luck ever seeing this man ever again in a buy low conversation. He's absolutely off the table. Just off the table. But man, it was nice to see that touchdown catch out of Keon Coleman. I'll tell you that. I'm not going to get like overly excited and act like the one target was something that we can absolutely just take victory lap upon victory lap about. But I mean, we certainly feel good that happened, right? I've been waiting for it. You've been waiting for it. We've all been waiting for it. We all needed it to happen. It was something that was weighing on us, I think. Because, and that's the thing, is I want to remind everybody, the marathon that we're running right now, not the sprint, the marathon, and that, Chase Brown still is not a dead, topic or conversation or potential, savior for your team. That Kincaid should not be given up on because they're running the hell out of the ball. Kincaid comes out and is the third best wide receiver in this box score here for the Buffalo Bills in the bottom right corner. 3 for 41 and 1 tutty. He had 5 targets, which was really nice. This was a nice game for Kincaid, breaking the seal with the touchdown. Shakir's continuing to be very efficient, 72 yards and a score. James Cook was ultra effective, 4 for 48. And listen to me when I say I'm an adjust and adapt person. I may be somebody that wasn't as high on Cook as I should have been, and I admit that. There are definitely players I should have been way higher on. Sam Darnold's playing out of his mind right now, and I admit that. Sam Darnold, I called wrong. James Cook, I was not high enough on. I think James Cook is somebody that he is a locked-in top 6 to 10 running back. But understand this, if you listen to nothing else that I say. You must be absolutely certain that you go cuff this man to his counterpart and do it now. There's no reason Davis should be sitting out there, the eventual starter, if something were to happen. And Frank Gore Jr., I believe, still on the practice squad. A lot of things could happen, but this guy Davis is an absolute monster. They like him a lot. He would be very efficient and effective if ever called upon. He fits this team very well. He fits this scheme very well. He ran the ball 7 times for 22 yards, had a touchdown. And it's just a matter of time before there's some scenario. I don't want to knock on wood. I'm not predicting injury for Cook, but I do believe, in my mind at least, I envision this, okay? I went to the mountaintop last night to find out if JD5 was going to break out, and I was told yes. But while I was there, I unexpectedly was told that Ray Davis would start a game or two this year. And you don't want to be pulling the where's Mason when you're owning Christian McCaffrey type of situation. Rinse and repeat. Ray Davis is really good. The 3.1 yards per carry, don't let it fool you. This was a wild game. The game script in terms of when Ray got the ball and when he didn't, he looked tough, but he got swarmed. Wasn't his fault. You got to use your eyeballs. James Cook ran really well today. He only had 3.5 yards per carry. So you got to take into context the situation at hand. But you must cuff Ray Davis to James Cook. If you do, you have a top 6 to 10 running back lock. You can sleep like a baby at night. You have no worries. You don't need to do any kind of sell high. You don't need to do any trades. Just make sure you sit tight and hold the both of them. You just hold the both of them. That's all you need to do. Down here, you could see Keon Coleman, 1 target. Of course, we want that to be different. But Josh Allen, look at the touchdown spread. 1 to Shakir, 1 to Kincaid, 1 to Ty Johnson. 1 to Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman's 24-yard strike was absolutely phenomenal. But it was not even the second longest completion of the game. 27 to Shakir, 28 to Dalton Kincaid for the long, and Keon Coleman 24. Josh Allen is slinging this thing. He's slinging the rock. 4 touchdowns, 263, 44 and 0 tutties on the ground, but 4 touchdowns through the air. No interceptions, 23 of 30. Looked absolutely phenomenal. Josh Allen was absolutely in his bag. Brian Thomas Jr. at the bottom right corner, 5 for 48. Christian Kirk, 8 for 79. Quiet, understated games from Kirk. A decent game out of Brian Thomas Jr. if you were looking for 8, 9, 10 points. Gabe Davis was non-existent in his revenge game, did nothing, absolutely nothing. ETN 4 of 17 receiving. The 4 receptions was nice. Tank Bigsby only 2 carries. ETN got 6.2 a rip and had 11 carries for 68 yards. So ETN does remain a very good buy low running back for me walking into the remaining weeks. I'd say Josh Jacobs is my number 1 or number 2. ETN's my number 1 or my number 2 from the kind of like not as big name guy as like Achane, right? You're looking a little deeper for an RB. It's really going to be ETN. When people ask me who should I trade for, ETN, and it's going to be Jacobs. Those are going to be the 2 running backs I often name when I'm looking for a very good high-end running back 2. If I'm looking for a running back 1, it's going to be Gibbs, because the Monty believers are so loud. The Gibbs owners are overhearing this and they just kind of worry a little bit about the workload divide. We're buying Gibbs first and foremost. We're buying no more Kyron. No more Kyron buy lows. Kyron had a hat trick in week number 3. A hat trick.
Let him cook.
A hat trick.
How to handle a ball. He's Kyron. He can take frowns and turn them upside down with his touchdowns.
So Kyron, buy low season's out the window. I don't care if he has a mediocre game. That hat trick's gonna stay with people for weeks. It's gonna burn in someone's memory of I should have not doubted him. Why did I doubt Kyron? Why was I scared of Corum? Hey Corum, where's that coffee? Corum, you got the coffee, Corum? Actually, hey Corum, go get Ronnie Rivers a coffee. Ronnie, go get Kyron a coffee. That's the correct pecking order. And honestly, we need to have that conversation about whether we do need to cuff all three. We probably do right now. You might say, I can't afford to do that. You're going to have to figure it out because you really should have the trio until one is confirmed for, without a doubt, the backup running back. So Trevor Lawrence was dog water yet again, 21 of 38, 1 INT, 1 touchdown. He's lost it, man. His beautiful long mane is turning into a ratty mess, and his hair's falling out. He doesn't even have a golden mane anymore. It's turning into a dirty mane. It's not even. He's not even an absolute lion anymore. So it is what it is. But ETN's a great buy low, and that's the recap of these two Monday night performances. JD5 going to the moon. I mean, good God, he just looks so good. Josh Allen lives on the moon. Can I get some Josh Allen and JD5 emojis in the live chat, please? Those of you that have a YouTube exclusive membership, please drop the JD5 and Josh Allen emojis in the chat. Anthony said Smitty's buy lows are amazing. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate you. I'm going to do part 2. The Lawrence milk got soured for sure. And, sometimes it happens. I've got a Law Dog shirt I want to just light on fire. Maybe we'll do it on the live stream. But it definitely soured. But it is what it is. You can't hit them all. That wasn't somebody we were high on this year, but last year I was high on Law Dog, I admit. Thank you, Anthony. We did the buy low running backs. We're going to do the wide receivers probably later tomorrow. JD5, Chase, and Kincaid got me the comeback win. Attaboy, Hassan. Very, very happy for you. I'm going to dig right into the super chats. Any $20 haulers get immediate attention. We got Jonathan with the 1990. Do we have where's the drone at? Where's the drone? I think we deserve to fly the drone tonight. I think it's drone time. I think we're flying the JD5 is him. Flag. Let me create it. JD5 is him. JD5 is him. Get a little tape. Put it on said drone. Fire it up. Best drone flyer in the nation when it comes to flying drones on a YouTube live stream, I must say. I've never heard of anybody that flies a better drone than this man right here. Doing it live. Here we go. Let him cook.
Let him cook.
We definitely have damaged the drone. I don't know if it's within the return window on Amazon. We might have to order a brand new one. I've crashed it, testing it out, trial and error so many times. It's out of batteries on top of that. And I don't know what I need to charge, the remote or the actual battery inside the drone, but it crashes like crazy. Let's try that one more time. I'm pretty sure it's this battery right here on the back of the drone. I think this is the one we need to swap out. I believe this one's charged. I don't know for sure.
Let him cook.
I think it was the battery. It definitely is a little off kilter though. Like it doesn't fly quite right. Been a minute, Smitty, says Coble. Coble, where you been? Hope you and the chat have been great. I'm still catching the shows, but doing it live has been tough. How about that throw to Scary Terry? JD5 all day long. Broke the rookie completion percentage record. 90+%. He was 21 of 23. 21 of 23. Best completion percentage for a rookie QB ever. 21 of 23. 254 yards, 2 touchdowns. Just a remarkable kid. Just on his way. And that's a $20 hauler from Coble.
Tumas.
I mean, what a monster Coble is. Coble, appreciate you. We got another $20 hauler in here somewhere. Isaac coming in with a 20 wad. Smitty Damas, I need your advice. I have Kyler and JD5. I seriously need a true wide receiver one. I have Bijan and Kyron, but wide receivers I have Devontae Smith, Ridley, Dell, Keon. Which QB should I trade? I'd trade the QB that gets you the most value. Whichever one gets you that Nico Collins, MHJ, St. Brown. Those are all very viable wide receiver ones that are cheap. Rashee Rice, probably hard to get him at this point, but he still might be in that bucket of player that's capable of being had. Do you have to throw in something else like Ridley? You might have to. Maybe you could do Ridley and Kyler or Ridley and JD5 for one of those wide receivers, and you can afford to throw that depth in. Jamar Chase, out of the question at this point. JJ, you could try, but probably out of the question. St. Brown and Rice, doable. MHJ, Nico. Nico's probably your best bet, Isaac. Thank you for the $20.
Tumas.
Holler, you monster. Okay, what other monsters we got up in here? I don't think any more $20 hauler monsters at the moment. But Smitty and Higgins for Gibbs. So Devontae Smith and Higgins for Gibbs. Yes, I would take... Look, Devontae Smith is out for at least a game, I would imagine. And who knows what effect the concussion is going to have on him. He was pretty locked up and had a severe concussion. But I would say Gibbs looks very pedestrian. Coming back and not doing much. I'm not saying he can't bounce back and forth, but he's been a sell high for me and a not draft for me. Pretty much all season and off season. So I'm fine with this trade. I love Gibbs. Gibbs is a buy low. You'll see that video tomorrow on the buy low RBs. He'll be the top buy low of the week at the RB position. Him and HN. Buy. Will you trade Mixon and Harrison Jr. for Jacobs and Garrett Wilson? No. I would rather trade Mixon. I'd rather keep Mixon coming back and just banking on that he looks good again than sell him high or hold him. I think there's a better chance of Mixon off the ankle coming back and playing near Jacobs to the best of his ability or playing exactly the same than Garrett Wilson can hang with Marvin Harrison Jr. So that's a big no. The rest of my team doesn't matter. I'm not doing that no matter what the team looks like. I'm holding on to Marvin Harrison Jr. Big things to come. Marvin Harrison Jr. neighbors, I might do a video on this tomorrow. That might be the number 1 and number 2 wide receiver. I don't even know which order yet in 2025. We might see MHJ and neighbors go 1 and 2 for wide receivers, or at least both in the top 3. Need a wide receiver 2. HN and Ford for Mason and London. I would probably take... I would rather go after Tank Dell or Worthy on the cheap than get rid of HN and his volume. However, I love Mason right now. We're a Masonite community. The Christian McCaffrey news is dreadful. It's awful. He's going to see a specialist in Germany. That is not good. You don't travel across the world for a not only second opinion, but a second type of treatment if you're looking to return during the regular season. This is I think a hope to be back at the very end of the year. If the Niners even make the playoffs, the way they're getting hit, Hargrave, they've got injuries up the wazoo. Brock Purdy is probably going to play, I imagine, but he's out day to day with a back injury. They're probably trying to do maintenance on that, but you never know. Need wide receiver 2, so I'll go after Dell or Worthy. And trust me when I say, I can't guarantee that both Dell or Worthy will rebound to my satisfaction, but I can almost guarantee that one of them will. Almost. I can't guarantee anything. My gut tells me that one of Worthy or Dell, maybe both, explode past the newfound expectation. And when I say that, I understand what I'm saying. Some of you drafted Worthy and Dell at a certain territory. Now, any of you drafted Worthy, you drafted him cheaply, so this should still apply to you. But at the cost of entry, they're going to earn their value back. I don't understand what the problem would be for anybody if they didn't quite climb to the expectation level that I have. But you're buying them so dirt cheap, they're winning you leagues if you land them. I'd rather do that in the scenario that you painted than mess around with the team. Go buy low shopping. Yo, Smitty, should I move Mahomey for JD5? I wouldn't. This coming from one of the biggest JD5 supporters. Mahomes and the Chiefs are cooking. They're just not getting the offensive passing production that I believe they're on the verge of getting. And we're 3 weeks in, and Mahomes is still QB. After tonight, probably QB 8. Maybe. Oh, no, he might still be QB 7. It depends on your scoring format. That's like one big game. 1-3 TD game of Mahomes, and he's in the top 4. You know? So I'm not trading Mahomes, but I love JD5. JD5 still will have some huge wins. Looks good, but might have one touchdown game. There's no way I'm trading Mahomes. But this is how good JD5 is. He's getting into this conversation. But keep in mind, JD5 didn't have that value until tonight. So don't be too fickle with 1 or 2 evenings. Okay. I also have Worthy. Worthy, nice. Is Worthy worth shopping? No, because no one will buy him. You hold him. He's an absolute potential monster. He just needs a little time. Everybody needs to calm down. You know, with judging these rookies too quickly through 3 weeks of play. You know, give them a while. I wouldn't even judge them after next week. AD Mitchell didn't. I think he ran one route. So there's a lot more concern about AD Mitchell. Likely at tight end. Likely's a guy that's hard to trust, but he's also hard to give up on, bro. Thank you for this super chat, by the way. This is a $20 hauler by Tab. Tab, appreciate you. You're going to Mars. Send you to Mars.
To Mars.
Amazing. Tab stock is up with the $20 hauler. Jeez. Tab, thank you. All right, let's hit these other super chats while they're cooking here, sizzling. Need a wide receiver too. HN and Ford for Mason in London. I already answered that one, and you have my answer. This one right here from Alex. Alex, let's see, a sad. Who did? Yeah, man, I'm sorry, bro. JD5 is unreal. I'm sorry about your loss, man. But hey, I mean, Burrow looked good. Chase looked good. 0-3 sucks though. Gibbs and AR5 for JD5 and Jacobs. That's a tough one. I'd probably say, chat, what do you think on this one? I don't want to give up on AR5. I don't want to give up on AR5. Am I starting AR5 over a Kyler or over a JD5? No, not until further notice, and maybe not ever for the rest of the year. However, is Gibbs light years above Jacobs? I do think he is. The question we got to ask ourselves is, can AR5 still score fantasy points? Don't judge AR5 on being a good NFL quarterback this year. You got to get out of that headspace. You got to stop listening to the noise about that. I know he didn't play like a good fantasy quarterback at all either. But you got to ask yourself, can AR5 deliver fantasy production still? He's still very young. He's still making mistakes. I personally would rather have the chance of AR5 getting close to fantasy production. He won't look as good NFL-wise. He'll never be as good as JD5. But fantasy production's closer. The gap is more doable between AR5 and JD5 in fantasy than it is Gibbs and Jacobs. So give me the AR5 side. Plus, I think you can work around the quarterback spot a little bit easier and keep Gibbs on the roster. You know what I'm saying? Versus like try and repair the running back room later. Trade Braylon Allen for Chuba. I would rather have Braylon Allen. Don't give him Braylon Allen that cheaply, bro. He went out and got a guy. Chuba's gonna get replaced eventually by Brooks. I'm not wanting that fool's gold. My core is Burrow, JD5, Chase, and Devontae Adams. I feel fine having JD5 over Burrow. Do I sell on Adams, Burrow, Chase? Don't sell Chase, bro. But do I sell Burrow and Adams to a QB needy team? Absolutely. Maybe you get a Nico, maybe you get a St. Brown, maybe you get a MHJ, maybe you get a Rashee Rice. And I would overpay using an Adams to get that upgraded wide receiver by throwing Burrow in essentially for free to get that wide receiver upgrade is the way I'd look at it. It's the cost of doing business, bro. And you did yourself a solid by having the two quarterbacks. Someone dropped JD5. Pick him up before the game and celebrating like McLaurin. More rare footage of McLaurin as he's walking down the sideline.
Let him cook.
McLaurin, every couple feet, woo! He just kept screaming. He just kept celebrating. Great job picking him up, Jim. How could you drop JD5? That's so ridiculous. Reactive Rogers, man. I bet he's kicking himself right now. I bet he hates JD5. He's going to start talking trash about JD5. Oh, he's going to do bad. I trade JJ for James Cook and Evans bench Zamir. This depends on Evans, man. Is that, Evans, can he bounce back and become that player he was, last year and at the beginning of the year? If he does, this could be a good trade. It could be understandable. I'd probably rather have JJ myself, but it's not a crazy move whatsoever. Nobody got taken on the trade. It's just a matter of preference and how you think you can build. Traded Dak and Shakir for Stroud and Worthy. Dak and Shakir for Stroud and Worthy. I would trade. I would take Stroud and Worthy and run, and absolutely run. Like, that side is going to. I'm telling you, doesn't matter what's happened. It matters what's going to happen at this point, right? And Stroud and Worthy are going to explode for you. Say something, you box score bobbies. Chase is on the case. That is correct.
All right, prepare for take one. All right, action.
He's a box score Bobby. He's a little sloppy. Box score Bobby. He's a box score Bobby. He's so sloppy. Bobby.
Absolute monster. And we got a $100 hauler in the building. Who is this? Eric. Eric coming in. Every once in a while, I think Eric comes in and just drops it's like he drops a bottle of wine off while he's out, getting a pump in at the gym. He's like, here's a little bottle of wine for you, Smitty. He says, for president of the JD5 Club, Eric. Eric, I appreciate you. I forget what the last one is. You dropped a $100 hauler for being the president of, I forget what player it was last time. But Eric dropping the $100 wad on screen. Let's go, Eric.
Let him cook.
Wanted. The top most wanted outlaws, 'cause they're wanted. Dead or alive.
Appreciate you, Eric, for dropping the wad on screen. Wad monster. All right, let's go. Eric, we're going to keep that Eric super chat in the corner here to encourage more drone flights tonight. Say something, box score Bobby, says Lewis. Go ahead. Lewis dares you. Say something before Lewis gives up on you. All right, Superfish, appreciate you. Oh, I can't do that. What am I doing, Eric? I'm sorry. Superfish says, Smitty, this is your day as much as ours. Congrats to you and your chat and the chat folks. JD5 on the incredible show on primetime for all to see. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, look, we miss things too. Like, I don't want to act like we're hitting absolute, we're batting 1,000 or something like that, you know. But I mean, this is a good day. This was a good day. It was good to see Coleman get a touchdown. He's not where we want him to be, so that's not 100% yet. And, you know, Kincaid's getting there. We want Kincaid to be doing better. Josh Allen, early quarterback. We're the biggest early quarterback channel you'll find on YouTube. Plain and simple. Josh Allen, Mahomes. And Mahomes will get there too. Patience. Have patience. But Mahomes, Jalen Hurts has been kind of iffy, but I still think he scores and does well. But anyway, Josh Allen's a home run. My Bills absolutely look phenomenal right now. Big Bills fan, if you don't know. Cards and Bills. Family from both sides of the fence there, so it's kind of a split. But I feel like yeah, we had a good day. JD5 looks phenomenal. I'm wearing my JD5 shirt. I couldn't wait to put it on. I think I might go to bed with it on. It might be my new nighttime gear. Sleep tight, Smitty. Yes. With my JD5 shirt on, with my matching trousers. Thanks Superfish for dropping the $5 wad. TP31, appreciate your super chat. Mason 3-0, nice job. Mason, Monty, Kyron, Zamir, AR5, Rice. Like the team, feel like I'm top heavy. I mean, look, I don't think you can do much with the RB room. You kind of need it because if Mason were to kind of fall off or Garendo, you know, obviously you got Garendo, but like, or if Christian McCaffrey did somehow come back or something, you kind of need that running back room the way it is. Yeah, I don't think you're top heavy at all. I think you got a very good balance to the team. Brooks is going to come back. Brooks and maybe a trade at some point is possible. Like you could trade for a receiver if you needed another one. I would trade low on Worthy. I'd trade low on Tank Dell. I think Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and Rice is perfect. I like your team a lot. You're 3-0 for a reason. I wouldn't get cute at this point with your team. I just keep it the way it is. It's a really good squad. Not like Aaron, $10 hauler, 0-3. This is the reverse of the team we just saw. 10-man. Who can I trade away and grab? My squad is Love, Fields. Well, you got hit with the Love injury. Bijan's been very stagnant so far, very, very bland. I don't know that you can sell him, so you gotta hang out and wait it out. Make sure Benson's not available because you have one part of a potential changeover at some point in Arizona at the RB room. Then you're gonna lose all value, just ripped out from under you if you don't have Benson to trade or start. Walker, I don't see Charbonnet. You got to be careful with these types of running back situations because they're very, very cuffable. Some are not cuffable, some are. So you got to be very careful with that. Evans and Waddle and Worthy, I don't think you got a lot of sell high value at all. So unfortunately, you have to wait it out. There's nothing you can do. If you try and trade some of these guys, you're giving up value and you're not going to get enough in return because no one's going to buy them. This is not a bad team. I think you wait a week. We see what's what. Try and get this win in week number 4, and then you're 1-3, and we go from there in terms of trying to do some buy lows and sell highs. But there's nothing to trade there, unfortunately, unless you're buying. You find somebody that's just trying to sell Achan. You find somebody that's trying to sell. Let me look at your team one more time. You could potentially try and move. Whose team was that? Let me go back to that squad. Yeah, you got nothing. Not that it's not a good team. It's just you got nothing to sell. Even Evans, you can't sell high. You just got to hold it. There's some teams that just have that going on. That's why you're 0-3. It's got nothing's clicking. 1 and 2 need help with drops and ideas. Love, Achan, Stevenson, Adams, Amon-Ra, Devontae Smith, Shaheed, bench. Man, waiver Adunze. You got to grab Adunze. I'd probably drop, out of all these guys, I'd say, I mean, that's a really tough one. If this is all you have to drop, I would say probably, I guess Dobbs or Warren, but with Love coming back, Dobbs could still have value, so it's kind of risky, and at some point Warren could take over. It's not like it's a good-looking running game anyway, but I'd probably consider Warren, I suppose, right now. I wish you could IR spot somebody, but it doesn't look like you can. Devontae Smith, maybe you can IR spot Devontae Smith this week. I don't know what your rules indicate, but trade ideas. I mean, I'd say you could do 2 for 1 as well. Adams and Stevenson for ETN and somebody, Just do a 2 for 2. Adams and Stevenson for ETN and a Worthy or something like that. I would contemplate that. I'd also contemplate an Achane and Worthy, Achane and Dell for that combo. You could also ride it out. I just don't believe in Adams being consistent, and I don't know that I believe in Stevenson being consistent. They both play on very bad teams, and if there's one rule aside from best player available that I ask you guys to consider at every turn in a draft is draft players and trade for players that play on amazing teams with lots of points being scored. You have 2 players here that are going to be ultra disappointing here and there. They might have some good games for sure, but they're going to be hard to count on. I would go after Achane. I'd go after Marvin Harrison Jr. I'd go after Jacobs is a good buy low if you could do a 2 for 2. We'll have to dig into some ideas once you find what teams have when you go look at their team and you try and identify even a low anchor of the trade like Worthy or Dell. What do they have? Do they have an Achane? So go to those teams first and see. Thanks again for all the help, Smitty. 1 and 2, 12-team PPR moves to make: Burrow, Neighbors, Quentin Johnson, Bijan, Achane, Kincaid, Swift, Kupp, Coleman. Wait on Kupp unless you can do some creative, crafty trade. Burrow finally bounced off and popped off for you. Neighbors looking great. I'd sell Quentin Johnson on the high if you can get a buyer. Bijan, you kind of got to hold unless you can swap him out for an Achane type, but you already have Achane, so it makes it hard. Like, what other running back? Like a Bijan for a Jacobson, Rashee Rice, we saw that earlier. It makes sense if the team needs it. Kincaid finally doing well. Maybe Swift and Quentin Johnson together could go get you a Worthy. I'll go get Worthy for that. I'll go get Worthy or Tank Dell. I don't care what people say. Those are 2 very good buy lows in that situation. Alicia, thank you for the $5 hauler. This one is a good team, I think, at a glance, except for a couple pieces I'd maybe move around. Love Mahomes, love Mason right now. You have Garendo, smart cuffing job there. And then Nico is fantastic. Ayuk and Cooper are the players I'm looking to trade. Cooper just had a big game. I capitalize off that. Cooper and Ford for Jacobs, for ETN, for Achane, for Gibbs. You might not get that, but you can try and shoot for the moon on that. Amari Cooper and Ford for MHJ, for St. Brown, for Rashee Rice. Go attack all of those. And then trade Walker and Cooper for Bucky and Reed. I would say that's not enough. Cooper should have more value than that, and Walker still got a lot of upside. And I don't know that he lost its job to Charbonnet. I know a lot of people might think so, but I don't know that he will have. Hold Walker unless you could sell him high, and that feels like you're selling him a little bit low. But Charbs and Walker should be together, so go to that Charbonnet owner. Wide receiver adds Hopkins, Mooney, Yoshivas, or Mike Williams. I'd probably go with Yoshivas at this point because, with T. Higgins back, he still scored. He still was very active. It's a very tough position to be in to count on him as a third wide receiver, but it's a good offense, so I think that probably would be my pick. I think Mooney's a close second. Cooper Kupp for Pittman and Daniels. If you need a quarterback, sure, but I'd rather just keep Cooper Kupp if I'm talking about like a Dak or higher. Some Miles, it depends on who your signal caller is. Hassan, appreciate you. DeMar Chase and Kincaid got you the win. Again, congrats on that one. Josh Jacobs and a second-round pick in 2027 or Walker. Josh Jacobs and a second-round pick in 2027 or Walker. Jake, you didn't really describe what you're trading here. Josh Jacobs and a second-round pick in 2027 or Walker, like you mean like the trade. You want Walker or that. I'd rather have Josh Jacobs right now. If I can win money. If I'm in a total rebuild and Jacobs can't help me at all win, then I guess I would maybe go Walker. But if I can win money, I'm going to go after the now. What do you do with Andrews and likely sell or hold? I don't think you can sell for much, man. You could always attempt to, but Mitchell, you're probably just stuck starting one of them each week unless you can go buy. I mean, Goddard's no longer a buy low. That was one of my top 3 tight ends of the year. It was Musgrave, who's busted so far. Goddard, and then was Goddard, Musgrave, and Likely. And Likely looked like he was off to a tear. That was such a good call, it seemed, and I think it still could be. So you have one of my 3 breakout tight ends. It's just he's in an inconsistent situation. But let me tell you this. The moment Andrews gets hurt, and he probably will, Likely's back in the top 6 to 10. I think he could still dance in there every other week, but he will have those bad games. I personally would try and sell Andrews, keep Likely, and use Andrews to upgrade another position just barely. Use him like gravy in the, icing on the cake. So maybe you're trading away a player like that ranks, 2-3 spots below another player. You're upgrading a very good wide receiver into MHJ, a very good wide receiver into St. Brown, a very good running back into Gibbs, who's doubted, or Achane. Use Andrews to that effect, because there are so many people that are desperate for a tight end right now that they will take a gamble. Losing my mind with AR5. Be patient or try for a new QB. I would be patient before I overreact, Jedi, but I'm not saying I'm not open-minded to a different avenue. YouTube says I'm not a member anymore, says Rock Out. Maybe your card expired, Rock Out. I'm not sure, bro. You have to look into that. If you renew quickly, I think it keeps counting your months. Need a wide receiver too. Achane and Ford for Jonathan Taylor and Garrett Wilson. Achane and Ford for Jonathan Taylor, Garrett Wilson. You got to take JT and Garrett Wilson. As much as I love Achane, that's a really solid move. Very, very, very good move. Trade or waiver moves. Hurts, Kyron, Ford, AJ Brown, Rice, Kincaid, Debo. You're kind of like stuck waiting. I don't know that there's much trade value at all on the bench. And I don't think you could trade Kyron on the high, but like, what are you going to get? AJ Brown's tough to trade hurt. Debo's tough to trade while they're hurt. You're kind of, best waiting on those guys if you can, unless you could do some sort of like Rashee Rice for Debo or Rashee Rice for your AJ Brown. And I don't know how many people are going to do that. How far do you go down and accept a 1-for-1 given the receiver you're getting is playing and the receiver you're giving away is hurt? I mean, that's where I think the cutoff is like a Rashee Rice probably. Because, in a draft, I think a draft setting, A.J. Brown and Debo would go ahead of Rashee Rice. I'm not saying they should, but that's why that cutoff is there. You're pretty good, bro. If you can weather through it, I would wait because your team is phenomenal. You lost 2 top 5 wide receivers. As well as the show's doing overall, I think we're landing a lot on this channel this year. A lot. Keep in mind that 2 of our biggest predictions were Debo Samuel and Cooper Kupp. Like Debo Samuel and Cooper Kupp being injured right now. 2 top 5 wide receivers. It's a little bit of a nut kick. And I still feel like we're crushing stuff. But man, I've got so many leagues. I think over 50% of my leagues, at least over 40%, have both Cooper Kupp and Debo on the same roster. And I think it's about 70% of all of my home leagues. I do 1,000 best ball drafts, but in my actual non-best ball drafts, I do about 12 a year. I try and cut it back. I end up getting, picking up a couple more, celebrity one here and there. And so I'm doing 12. I do 12 leagues. And I think 70% of them I have at least Debo or Kupp in. And about 60% of those are it's Cooper Kupp. So got hit bad with that, but Subbox Score Bobby had to do a double take in the title. Didn't realize you'd sell out on AR5 for his knockoff after a week. JD5 versus the Bengals fraud. What? What's he talking about? Hey, Jinxie, I'm really curious where you even got this, because I think you're in the wrong room. I don't think you know who you're talking to right now. Can you believe this guy? Sub box score Bobby had to double take at the title. Didn't realize you'd sell out on AR5 for his knockoff after a week. JD5 versus the Bengals. LOL fraud. Hey Jinxie, why don't you call into the show? Oh man, imagine spending $5 on just saying something that doesn't make sense. You're talking to the JD5 creator. Like, what are you doing back there? What are you doing back there, bro? Wow. You see what I deal with every single day, guys. Every single day I deal with this, and it's fine. It comes with the territory, you know. It's like when a celebrity like Debo or like a player is told, "I don't want to talk to the media." It's part of your job. Like part of my job is dealing with jinxies, you know, that come in here and say things like that. That they don't even know what they're saying. I don't even know if he's still here. But you could definitely explain yourself. The entire chat, all 1,000 people in the live stream right now are very curious as to what you think you saw or heard from me. Am I crazy to drop Goff for Aaron Rodgers? No, you are not. Aaron Rodgers looks really solid right now. Connor and Benson for ETN and T. I would take the ETN side of that and take that gamble. That's a real nice gamble to take. It's so crazy, man. I don't know what that guy must be in the wrong chat. Like he remembers the live streams differently or something. He was watching another show and he just got all upset and he's like, I'm gonna super chat. This guy's a fraud. He's a fraud. He's an absolute fraud. Here's $5. I want to tell you you're a fraud because how dare you like JD5 all of a sudden? I'm in a 10-man PPR. I've got Hurts, Kyron, Monty, Amon-Ra, Nico, Kincaid. Should I trade my backup wide receiver McLaurin for Waddle? I would sell, as much as I love McLaurin and watching him thrive tonight, I would take Waddle, I think, in a pretty significant percentage of leagues if faced with that scenario. I'd probably keep McLaurin in one, but that's so funny. Have Stroud and JD5. Who do I go with now? Matchup based, I think Stroud's going to be hard to bench when his matchup is even remotely close to amazing. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to have to take that as we go. You fraud. You absolute fraud. What'd you do? Go out and make that shirt overnight? Is that shirt, is this pressed on? Is this a sticker? If only you had this shirt for months since January. QB Allen, Love, Gibbs, JT, Allen, Corum, Benson, Cup, Dell, Coleman, JSN, Reed, McBride, dropping Zamir White for Shakir. That's fine. I'm fine with that. As far as your team, look, you got two amazing RBs in JT and Gibbs. You got an amazing number one overall quarterback. How you're 1 and 2 is beyond me, the way Josh Allen's playing. Dell, keep the faith in Dell. Cooper Kupp got injured. I guess that Cooper Kupp and Reed dropping off, and McBride, I guess, is what really kicked in the sack this time around. But yeah, I don't know. Was it an iron-on shirt, Smitty? Did he ever come back? I think he just dropped it and ran. I don't know. I don't see him. I don't think he's in here anymore. What was his name? It was Jinxie Cat, right? Let me see if I can find his super chat again. I don't think he said. I think he just dropped that super chat, and that was it. He just came in firing on the JD5. Smitty's a fraud. Where is it? There it is. He can't call in now, little bro. You busy trolling a couple other channels and super chatting wrong messages. Anyway, where are we at? For Jinxie Cat. This team right here, very good squad. Probably holding. You got a good team. You're waiting on Cup. Believe in Dell. In this situation especially, like, what are you going to roll with? You know, believe in Dell. Believe in Reed. JSN, believe in JSN right now. Coleman will get there. Keep Allen, JT, and Gibbs churning. You'll be fine. Let this team ride it out. I don't want you selling anything yet. I think your team's a very good candidate to wait and stand down. Who are we trading Hill for if we can? I mean, we're going after MHJ. We're going after St. Brown. We're going after Rashee Rice. We're going after ETN and a player. You know, going after ETN and Dell. ETN and Worthy would be good. Go to the Worthy and Dell owner and start there and see what RB they have. Do they have a Jacobs? Do they have an ETN? That would be a good move for you. Hey, Smitty, 12 team PPR. I got Dak, Kyron, Jacobs, St. Brown, Godwin, McBride, Dobbins, Debo, Bucky. I kind of want to trade Dobbins and Jacobs for an elite running back. Dobbins and I mean it's hard to trade 2 RBs for one. Usually people like a wide receiver running back trade, but you could try. And the people that come to mind, it's Gibbs, it is Achane, and really there's a hard line there, bro, where it's not very easy. You see my wide receiver. I think I got my wide receivers. Gibbs, Bijan, Achane, Jacobs, Kyron. You know, Kyron's off the table now. So those have been the guys I've been pushing all week, and now Kyron's not untouchable. He's untouchable. So you could try that. I mean, the problem is you didn't sell Dobbins on his high week. You didn't sell Jacobs on his high week, Espinosa. Now you're trying to sell Jacobs and Dobbins when they crapped the bed. They were super good sell highs walking out of last week. Godwin's also a very good sell high right now. And if he has a down week, you won't be able to sell him for the same price. So you could go Dobbins and Godwin for one of those guys. That would be a pretty good move. You could also potentially trade. You got Kyron already. Sorry, I see that you got. I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm just running with names, and then I got to go back and look at the team because it's hard to retain. So you got Kyron already. Jacobs and Godwin could get you a Bijan or a Gibbs, I think. And if you're trading for a wide receiver, I mean, you could go after a pretty big top 4 name. Good team though. Sorry if I didn't see that you had Kyron already. Nick, appreciate you. My team: QB Josh Allen, CD Lamb, Harrison, Rice. Keep your team, Nico. If you can start all those guys, Nico, Rice, Harrison, and CD, then smash with that, bro. And if you could start also one more because you got an extra flex, I mean, Ayuk's tempting to keep, I guess. But I'd rather trade Ayuk and Brian Robinson Jr. or Ayuk and Ramondre for that Gibbs, that Bijan, that Achane, and or honestly putting Brian Robinson or Ramondre, whichever one you keep, with JT in the lineup, and then go after an upgrade on Ayuk, and you get a player like, I mean, you could even take a gamble on Hill, Nick. I would take a gamble on Hill if I was you. There's not many teams I would say go get Hill, but yours would be one of them. Hill and I think you already had Marvin. If you didn't, Marvin Harrison Jr. Running back 2, Roshan or Wilson or Braylon Allen. I'd say Braylon Allen. He can serve his purpose immediately, and he also wins leagues if he gets into the lineup. I do think Roshan's going to carve out a role, but it is Chicago, so I don't trust it. 0-3, 10-team. Mahomes, Gibbs, Kyron, Mixon, Laporta, Devontae Smith, Garrett Wilson, London, Worthy, Wright also drop. Who your worst player is probably going to be, unfortunately, bro. This is such a small team, and there's not a lot to drop. I'd say it's probably, you can't drop Corum. You probably got to drop either Keon or Wright, and that's just because of the team that you're this is a small bench. I guess Keon for now, because you got Worthy, JSN, Devontae Smith, Gibbs, London. Like, you're not going to use them, but monitor the hell out of them. That touchdown was nice. Only one target, though, so there's definitely time to, I think, wait on them. Need help with these. What was did you have another? As far as trades, Mixon and London maybe on the high. Not saying I don't like London. I like London a lot, but would I sell London and Mixon for, like, one of those RBs like Gibbs, Achane, ETN, Jacobs? You always have Gibbs already. But for those that are in the same situation. Murph, need help and ideas. PPR, Hurts, Gino, Kyron, Achane, Corum, Wright, Dowdle, Akers, Cup, J-Mo, Worthy, Whittington. Keenan Allen would be great to trade, but I don't know if anybody's going to do it at this point. I like your team a lot. I probably wait on most of it, bro. You got Kyron and Achane and Hurts. I'm not worried about Hurts in your situation. I ride that train. Keenan, I don't think you can trade anything, bro. You can't sell JMO or Worthy low. You can't sell Cup low. I don't want you trading Kyron or Achane. I don't want you trading Hurts. I'm going to say hold, stand down. The only thing I contemplate is, can you get rid of Cup for like a Rashee Rice right now? And if you did that, would you have to give up Naylor or Keenan Allen? That would be fine. Keep Kincaid. He's just getting going. You wouldn't get enough for him anyway in trade. Got offered Achane, Pitts, and Quentin Johnson for Aaron Jones and Dunze Reed and Ferguson. I would take Achane and Pitts and Quentin Johnson. I'd flip Quentin if I could, but I'd easily take that trade. And then, I'm sorry, the question, there was something else at the bottom here. Jennings or Diane? I think you mean Deontay. Jennings or Diane? We're going to go with Juwan Jennings. Deontay and Juwan Jennings are going to be very close most weeks. I think you got to go Jennings given the big week. You know, like how can you not at this point? And then Aaron Jones, Reed, Ferguson. I have Josh Allen. Yeah. I mean, Jennings deserves to be started, especially if things aren't 100% back to normal for a while, you know. Lamar and Flowers for Josh Allen and Coleman. I'd take Josh Allen and Coleman and run, you know. Even if you're not using Coleman right away, eventually you can. Mason, Lamar, Singletary for Debo, Connor. I'd take Mason, Lamar, and Singletary and run, because Mason's going to equal, you know, Debo in some sense. Maybe all year long now because of the news on Christian McCaffrey, who is going to see a specialist in Europe or Germany, and that's bad news. That means that things are not going well. He could, to me, that sounds like he's going to be out the remaining regular, you know, the remaining part of the regular season. I still believe there are 2 5s. Play the video. I still believe in AR5. I still do. There's a lot of value. This is fantasy football. We could have 2 different conversations about football and fantasy football.
There are 2 5s? JD5? AR5? There can't be.
Oh no.
They're gonna cross streams.
I still believe you should believe. Everybody should believe. You know, we're talking about a guy that still has a ton of upside. London, Yoshivas, Mason for Del Achane. Del Achane for me, but very close call. Mason and London. This is pretty even, my guy. Very, very even, Steven. You could even lean toward you're a fan of the Niners. So you could lean toward that side if you wanted. I'd be okay with it. Thoughts on AJ Brown going forward? I think he's a good buy low, but certainly concerned about injuries with him. We've always kind of been, you know, the knees concern me, but like I'm buying him at 3rd round value equivalent if I can. Offer Gibbs and Achane for Taylor, Collins, and Pollard. Ooh, that's a good one. Taylor, Collins, and Pollard. I mean, I'd probably say give me Taylor, Collins, and Pollard, and then I flip Pollard. But it's super close. That's a dead even trade as well. Really is. I could go either way. Jinxie went in hard. Box score Bobby. Yeah, he didn't. He obviously was confused about what show he was watching, I think. Will JD5 make Terry McLaurin better the rest of the year? I think so. I think we're watching JD5 unleash. It hasn't been on McLaurin. Thoughts on trading Mark Andrews and Jerome Ford for Isaiah Likely? I'd rather have Andrews and Ford than just Likely. Likely has Goddard. I mean, I'd rather have the duo. Plus, I still like Andrews enough, I guess, that I would do that. But any ideas on who I should trade Cooper Kupp for? I mean, you try and get Rice, you try and get ETN, you try and get Jacobs. Those are attempts that I think once you get past that, it's kind of like maybe just wait on them if you can't get something like that. Drop Quorum from my bench for Garendo. You have Mason. You definitely need to make that move if you've got Jordan Mason. That's for sure. What do I do with AR5? You probably hold him unless you can get out of it safely, but I think he's still a good gamble to take if you're a gambling man. Dak Prescott could be a good maneuver out. 12-team half PPR normal league. I have Fields and AR5. Should I trade Kupp for JD5 and Pittman? If you're really good at receiver, I'm okay with this, but I still think AR5 is somebody I would potentially bank on. But I'm okay with this move if you really want JD5. You don't have him in any leagues, and you're very deep at wide receiver. But I would lean toward not, but it's very close in preference, man. Trade Burrow. Chat, would you rather roll with AR5 in Fields, or would you rather get rid of Cooper Kupp and get JD5 if you're him? Trade Burrow and Jayden Reed. Got JD5. Traded Burrow. Yeah, I like that. So you got Jayden Reed. I'm fine with that. Burrow and Reed are very, very close in value. That's perfectly fine. That's an even Steven move for somebody that's trying to get into a receiver. Thoughts on BTJ and Kincaid after tonight? BTJ could be inconsistent because he's in an inconsistent situation. Kincaid is on the rise, and I think he'll get way more consistent down the stretch. And he got so many targets last year. It wasn't fool's gold. He'll be repeating what he did last year and getting touchdowns. Got ETN and T done. 12-man. Have Jacobs, Bijan, Monty. Got ETN and T done. What was the trade, though, James? I don't remember. If we had a conversation, I've already forgot it because I see so many chats that come through here. I still believe there are 2 5s. Thank you again, Calvin, for dropping that. Beautiful statement. Very, very solid statement, and I agree with you. Jamie, appreciate you dropping this $20 hauler. 10-team, 2-person flex. Any trade ideas? Lamar, Mason, Najee, Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson, Hunter Henry, Malik Neighbors, Nico Collins. Wow, what a team. What a team. I look at this squad and I say Keith Walker. I think you mean Kenneth Walker, Brain Robinson, and Keith Walker. your autocorrect is doing numbers on you, similar to the way that a defense does numbers on T Law. I would say your way out of this, some of these situations would be like, and you could keep Lamar, you could trust in Lamar. Mason's, obviously fantastic. Make sure Garendo gets picked up. I don't see Garendo on your roster, so what are you doing there? Najee, keep Tyreek Hill. I think keep Garrett Wilson. It's a really good team, bro. You just need to trade Najee and Kenneth Walker, Najee and Brian Robinson, Najee and Devin Singletary, and just get that Rashee Rice, get that potential MHJ, get that St. Brown, get that player that's kind of in that category. I think another player you could throw out there would be, damn, you got pretty much all the players I want to buy low on. I mean, you could even try and upgrade into a Josh Allen, but it's gonna be hard after tonight. But some people like to sell high. It's weird. They get scared that they're gonna, the player's gonna break up with them before they break up with the player, and they want to send him packing. But you could go after Mahomes. I believe in Mahomes. I think Mahomes will be league winning for you. So personally, I would give up Brian Robinson and or Devin Singletary with your Lamar to get Mahomes. But that's me. I believe in Mahomes that much. That trade will work for me. Might not work for you. So trust your gut and know that I'm a crazy wild man. $20 hauler, 12-team, 1 and 2. Should I be worried? QB, Love, Hall, HN, Neighbors, Rice, Adams, Kittle. No, I like this team a lot. Dell, love Dell. I still love him. I'm acquiring him everywhere. I think Adunze's got some really good trade value right now. I think you could trade Adams and Adunze together and maybe get something done, bro. And keep the rest of it. Keep Rice, keep Neighbors, keep HN, keep Hall. I even like Love, but could I upgrade Love into Mahomes using Adunze? Sure, if that got it done. Bucky's about to gain some good value for you. But Adams and Adunze, I think that could probably get you a St. Brown or a MHJ or a Rashee Rice personally. And I would try and go after those 3 players specifically. Thank you for the $20 hauler. You guys are absolutely amazing. Rock out, got trade. Let me celebrate these $20 haulers effectively. Like, what am I doing here? This one here from Michael. Appreciate you, Michael, with the freaking $20 wad to Mars.
To Mars.
And this one from Jaime or Jamie. Appreciate you dropping your $20 hauler. You go to Saturn.
To Saturn.
Okay, let's see here. Where were we at? Thank you. Appreciate you guys. You guys absolutely rock. Rock out says, got a trade for my Hill for Wilson and a Dunze. I want more. Rock out, I'm sorry. It's not quite what the doctor ordered, in my opinion. Skip my super chat. Can you look at it? I don't know if I did, bro. I think I'm still getting to it. I think you're becoming an impatient Ian, which I don't blame you because it takes a while to get through some of these super chats. I'll find it. Here it is. You were second up anyway. I was coming for you next, but I'll throw you in the front of the line because you super chat complained and that deserves a bump. G, appreciate you. $10 hauler, 10 team full PPR. Mahomes, Barkley, Henry, Amon-Ra, Nico, Ayuk, Purdy, Mostert. What team moves should I make? Ayuk concerns me this bad 3 weeks in. He should. I definitely a player I didn't want to draft at all. I think you sell high on Henry if you want to get into something else at all. I think that you keep Mahomes, you keep Barkley, you keep Amon-Ra, you keep Nico. You maybe potentially sell Ayuk and let's call it, I don't know, you have anything to move other than that, bro. You know, on the bench at least, you're not going to be able to sell Mostert. BT, you're not going to be able to sell BT. Allen has no value. I think you could potentially do some sort of complex 2-for-2 trade where you send Derrick Henry for Gibbs, right? And then the Gibbs owner has, let's call it, I don't know, whatever wide receiver you think is an upgrade over Ayuk. Like maybe they got MHJ, maybe they got St. Brown, maybe they got something like that. And if you can't do that, I would very, very much contemplate trading Henry into a potential... Let's see here. I mean, Achane or Gibbs, and then because Henry had such a big game, I wonder if you could get a little bit more. You know, you get 2 players, and then you know you have a replacement player. Unless you like Henry, I know a lot of people are going to say, just keep Henry, and I'm fine with that too. I'm not saying that that's the wrong move or right message, and I know a lot of people are mad at my Derrick Henry. I think he's going to drop off take, and that's fine. I get he's playing like a monster, but it is a long season. His offensive line played better this week, but it is a brutal offensive line. I don't know what to tell you. I think at the end of the day, I'm trying to trade Ayuk. If you can trade him straight up for like a Jacobs, that might just be the move to make, or you probably need a wide receiver. Ayuk straight up for Garrett Wilson, and you give up something like BT. Ayuk straight up for... I don't think you can... Let me see. You already got Nico. I think because you got Amon-Ra and Nico, you could do this for an RB. Ayuk and... Damn, bro. Ayuk for Jacobs. Ayuk and Henry for Gibbs. Ayuk and Henry for Gibbs and like a Dell or a Worthy. Go to the Dell and Worthy owner and see what running back they have. If you believe in Henry, then I'm going to tell you to stand down and just kind of wait it out. AR5 or Gino this week. I'm going AR5. It is what it is, man. There's risk there, but there's a risk in sitting AR5. Is Mark Andrews droppable at this point? I don't think so, but you know. Depends on what's out there. Should I sub Bucky for White? I probably would. If I had to use one or the other, I'd probably use Bucky. Should I sub Bucky for White? Thank you for dropping it. You dropped it twice, but I appreciate you. All right, let me go back to the top here. This is the most recent, or in order of which they were received. Advice: 3 wide receivers, 12-man Mahomes, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, Ayuk, Gibbs, Charbonnet, Reed, Henry, bench, Williams, Ford. I'm 1 and 2 because I traded Rice and Terry for Ayuk and Spears. Many laps have been taken. I traded Rice and Terry for Ayuk and Spears. Yeah, but hey, it happens, bro. As far as this trade or as this team goes, I mean, Devontae Smith getting hurt really hit you hard. I think you're either trying to trade Henry for 2 pieces, like I'm describing, like a Gibbs and potential. Henry for Gibbs and like a Rice, or I'm sorry, Gibbs, Henry for Gibbs, and then you get like a Worthy, or you get somebody in that caliber of player that you like, or you're upgrading Reed into an MHJ by doing, you got Gibbs, damn it. Henry for Achane and a receiver. And if you have to give up Reed to go after a bigger name receiver, I would do that 2 for 2. I do like Reed, though. I would trade Sharp and Henry for 1 big monster, bro. One HN, one probably not going to get him, one Kyron, one Bijan. Bijan's so underrated right now. Dare I say you want to take a gamble, Henry for Bijan and a wide receiver. That'll probably work. Sometimes no move is the best move, though. Sometimes no move is better than moving just to move, bro. DVO, JD5, JJ, Amon-Ra, Rice, Neighbors, Deontay Johnson, Terry, Pittman, McConkey, HN, Kamara, Steele. I like this team. Henry. I think this is a scenario where I tell you to stay. You got Amon-Ra, Rice, and JJ. What more do you need? You got JD5 popping off. You got Neighbors, too. Yeah, I mean, you got HN, Kamara. They're playing great. Henry. I mean, you just stand down. That's a great team. I don't start Neighbors. You better start Neighbors. Damn it. I mean, if you don't start Neighbors, bro, you better trade Kamara and Amon-Ra maybe for... You can't even get like one player. That's too good of a package to just give up. I would say... depth is nice. Amon-Ra for a Gibbs or a Kyron. Amon-Ra for a Gibbs, a Kyron, and you just stack the running backs a little bit differently. But I don't think I'm moving too much on this, bro. I think I'm waiting. I think I'm letting that team continue to gain value. It's just too good. I don't like dividing some of these teams up into doing 2 for 1. Some of you guys don't need to. Sometimes, your team's so good, you just need to keep the depth. Bijan or Gibbs rest of the season, I'm going to say Gibbs. I just had the Gibbs HN owner ask if I'd be open to trading 1 for 1. I'd take Gibbs over Bijan. Unfortunately, right now, I'd take Gibbs. It doesn't mean I don't love Bijan or I don't still believe in him, but I definitely believe in Gibbs a little more right now. AR5, JD5, Chase, Waddle, Worthy, Reed, JT, Gibbs. Trades, upgrades. I would probably say if it's a 1 QB, you're getting rid of... I don't even think you can get rid of AR5. Chase, Waddle, Worthy, Reed's fantastic. JT, Gibbs, Kincaid. Stand down, Hassan. I'm not going to force trades with some of your teams. Some of these teams are Smitty built teams too, so I'm going to be very into them. I'm going to be very much like don't trade. Don't call me a panic, Peter, but my team is torched for sure. 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and a flex. Stroud, Mason, K9, Sharps, T, Nico, Worthy, Pittman, Laporta, benches, CMC, Keenan Allen. I don't know. I don't know that it's torched. I mean, bro, what's your record? Stroud's going to be fine. Mason and CMC, you're good. Make sure you got Garendo. I don't see Garendo. Make sure you got Garendo. You'll be fine. Charbonnet's been tearing it up, bro, unless you haven't been playing him. And so between K9 and Sharps, you got a starter. T's back. He didn't play well, but he's back. Nico, T, and Worthy are a great 3. I put Pittman on the bench. I keep starting Worthy. Laporta shouldn't miss much time. And, bro, that's that. That's a good team. You're right. The trade value might not be there, but I think you got a good squad. First of all, thank you for the $20 hauler, Cole. But I would not give up on that team.
Too much.
Am I wrong, chat? Isn't he overreacting? His team is very good. I think that team is fantastic. Cole, don't give up on that squad. I like it a lot. I think that squad's really good. And I think the chat's going to agree with me. Team Superflex, PPR, Kyler, Dalton, Rice, Cup, London, Dell, Johnston, HN, Bijan, Mason, great team, Garendo, Pacheco, Brooks, really good squad, McBride. Yeah, I'm standing down on this team too. Kyler, fantastic. Unless I can use Brooks and like Dalton for an AR5. Go after AR5. My recommendation, I'm going to have a Superflex video. I got to make sure I remember to make this video. AR5, I got it on my plans. Superflex video. AR5, go buy him. I'm not saying it's the most attractive move in the world, but it's a fantastic go-get situation. I think Brooks helps you do that. Pacheco, even throw him in. Looking at your team, Quentin Johnson potentially as a throw-in. I'd do London with Dalton to upgrade that into AR5. It's worth trying in a super flex. I think he's going to have a bounce back. I really do. Noob here in casual four-man league. Four-man league? That's the first time we've heard of a four-man league in forever. Mercury, I appreciate you bringing that to us. Ayuk, Adams, Evans, Flowers. Who do I drop? Neighbors, Godwin, Metcalf, Sharps, Aaron Jones, and Jennings all still available. You imagine if Neighbors is sitting out like this is. All right, Mercury, I appreciate you. Number one, you have guts of steel to come in here and admit this is a four-man league. Neighbors being available is unreal. Who do I drop? I guess in this league, Flowers. And it sounds crazy. Somebody walking in said, did Smitty just tell him to drop Flowers in his four-man league? Yeah. And I'd pick up Neighbors in a heartbeat. And I probably would rather have Metcalf over Adams as well while we're at it. What choices, man. You wake up and you can pick up Neighbors in the morning. Smitty and the gang, I have both Kyler. Thank you for your super chat. And I'm glad you're here. We'll help you dominate. Okay, so glad you're here. Noob and all, we like having you here. Smitty and gang have both Kyler and JD5, 12-man league. They play each other next Sunday. Who do you start? I'm probably going to go, guys, who are we going with? JD5 or are we going with, let's see here. Drop the Patreon link, sure. It should be pinned, Travis, isn't it? No, it's not. You're right. All right, I've got the Underdog Fantasy link pinned. Let's switch that out. Make sure you click that. Join the 24/7 chat on Patreon. Boom. And I'll pin that link right now. So, Travis, you can tell people it's pinned. There it is. Guys, who we starting, Kyler or JD5 next week? Again, playing each other. I probably lean Kyler by a hair, just for now. But I really hope that, change. We change our mind. I love JD5, man. 0-3 from Donnie. Trying not to panic. My team is Hurts, Kyron, Jacobs, Monty, CD, Kincaid, Dell. Don't touch that team. That's a great team. Dell should be in there if you're talking about Braylon or Dell. I'm still starting. Worthy. I'm still starting Worthy or Dell as my flex. I don't care what anybody says. And to be honest with you, bro, I hate to not give you a trade recommendation here, but I love your team. You're 0-3. I've had teams, not one, tons of teams before in my 20 years doing this. Tons of teams start off 0-6 and still win a championship. You could still do it at 0-6. I've seen it before. I forget if anybody's ever done it at 0-7. But I know for a fact it happens not just like once a year. There's handfuls of people that I talk to that are just doom and gloom and they win the championship, bro. So do not give up. All you need to do is one game at a time. Just hit one, you're 1-3. Hit another, 2-3. Hit another, you're 3-3, and you're like one game out of the playoffs at 6 games in to the season. And your team is phenomenal. And I love your team. It's very steady. The only thing I'd even consider doing is maybe trading like Monty on the high. Problem is, I don't know what you could sell them for, straight up. I would try and get like a Rasheed Rice or something, but like you could still get the value out of Monty. So like don't sell them unless you're doing some sort of awesome St. Brown move. Someone needs an RB bad enough. Because you have 2 RBs, you could kind of do this. Past that, I'm just sitting on that team, Donnie. It's a really good team. I'd take that. I'd almost, if I had the time, I'd say, tell me the login information or transfer that team to me, and I'll just buy your entry for you out. That's a great team. I'm not going to do that, though, because I don't have time. 1-2, 12 team. Any trade ideas? I have Lamar, Nico, Worthy, Olave, Raheem Morris, Bijan, Lockett, Mike Williams. Okay. I have Lamar, Nico, Worthy. Olave. It's really good. Nico, Worthy, Olave is freaking good. Lamar, Ramondre, and Bijan. It's a good team. Don't think there's much trade value. I don't want you to trade Olave or Worthy or Nico away. So we're kind of banking on Ramondre bouncing back. Ramondre and Keenan Allen, can that even get you anything? Probably not. There's not much trade movability here at all. Like at all. Unless you can, pick up a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers off waivers and say, you know what, screw it. We're going to do it live. And then you trade Lamar and Ramondre for like a Achane or something from a QB needy team. Like that's the only thing that comes to mind. Like peek at that, see if there's any potential room for that. And if not, then I'm not trading anything. $10 hauler. Any ideas or moves? 12-team PPR. Joe Burrow, ETN, Jordan Mason, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra, Higgins. I'd probably say with this squad, it's kind of a similar like wait and see. Kincaid's just getting going. I like ETN. I wouldn't sell him low. Joe Burrow finally breaking out. Jordan Mason's fantastic. Make sure you grab Garendo. AJ Brown and Amon-Ra, Higgins. I'd maybe trade AJ Brown and Higgins for like a MHJ or higher. That's it. Jamar Chase is now out. I don't know that there's even very many players whatsoever. Amon-Ra's one of them, and you already own him, that is worth buying, that has top 5 wide receiver upside. AJ Brown's better. You're better waiting for him because it might only be a couple weeks, or doing some sort of like, you could trade Higgins and like Zamir, or Higgins and Yoshi Voss, or Higgins and something. Hunt, even Higgins and Hunt, to get like an injured Cup and just stack it. You know what I mean? And just wait and just absolutely pounce on people once he comes back. That's the only time I'd tell somebody to go trade for an injured player. 14-man, Caleb, CMC, Mason. Nice job on cuffing. Get rid of Caleb, though. Rashad White, Justice Hill, Rice, London, Neighbors, Dell, Keon, and Kittle. Running backs are scaring me. I used to be more scared of my quarterback, bro. Your running backs, yeah, they're worrisome. Rashad White, you should have Bucky Irving. If you don't have Bucky, then I don't know. At least you got Mason and CMC. At some point, you might be using both those guys. Rashad White, who could you trade for? You got to get Bucky. If Bucky's on waivers, it's a full load drop for you. But your team's really good. Maybe you're trading Neighbors on the high, which I hate to do, but maybe you could get a potential like Evans and ETN or something like crazy. Explore that. If you can't, then I'm probably going to tell you it's a 14-man league, but Bucky would have been perfect. It would have been a total solution for you to not have to make a single move. But unless you're getting the world for Neighbors, I think I'm sitting on this entire situation. I also would try and get into a different quarterback somehow, bro. I'm not a big fan at all of Caleb, as you know. Damien, appreciate you. 2-1, 12-team PPR. Love Gino. Neighbors, Nico, T, Reed, Addison, Hall, Allen, Kincaid. Need help at my running back spot. What do I do? I trust in Reed, so I can move T, or I can move Reed. Full load drop on Bucky. Carson Steele out there, you maybe grab him. I don't know, man. I don't know if there's a lot. You got Wilson, so maybe Jacobs. Could you give up Reed? And I'd be even tempted to say I'll trade Reed and T. Higgins for one RB, like Jacobs or something, especially because you have Wilson and you got Allen and Hall. You might be able to get something back in that, but that would be a pretty solid move, I think, considering the situation you're in. 2 QB, trade JD5, Jacobs, and JMO for CD and AR5. I would take CD and AR5. I'd take the gamble in AR5 in that scenario, bro. Do we believe in Carson Steele after the first game? I believe in him. Do I think he'll get the for sure workload? I don't know, but I certainly believe in him. High score this week, get $75. Put it toward the league. Smitty, do it live. Put it towards. Okay, I think I know what you're saying. See that? Appreciate you. Do I offer Devontae Smith and JSN for K9 and Reed? I I guess if you need the RB, I'm okay with you doing that. If you need an RB, I'm okay with you not doing it. If you don't, kind of even. Trade Bowers for Ferguson. I'd take Bowers in a heartbeat. Need a wide receiver. Have Collins, Pittman, Deontay. I'd probably trade Deontay on the high. Deontay for Olave could work, or Godwin. I'd say Deontay, but you might have to give up a little bit. Deontay and something. I would definitely sell Deontay, though. I also very much like buying Worthy on the low and Tank Dell on the low, especially in Dynasty if you're playing Dynasty. Feeney, 10-team half PPR, have Hurts, Brees, Kyron, Diggs, Debo, Pickens, JSN, Dobbins, Terry, McLaurin, McBride, Keenan Allen. What are the best trades combos? I'd probably say keep Debo versus trading him. Pickens, Dobbins and Diggs, Dobbins and Pickens, Dobbins and JSN. I wish you traded Dobbins last week, though. His value is very, very tanked. ETM would be a nice get. HM would be a nice get. MHJ would be a nice get. Dobbins and JSN, Dobbins and Pickens. I feel like you could definitely try. You could try for a Tyreek Hill. People are freaking out on Tyreek Hill. You could try for a Rice or a St. Brown. Going to be potentially hard to get. Feeney, those would be good moves for you, bro. What moves should I make? Allen, Lamb, Metcalf, ETN, Harris, Mark Andrews, Godwin, Dell, Singletary. Singletary on the high is a good move right now. Get rid of Singletary. Keep CD. Keep Josh Allen. Keep Metcalf. Keep ETN. Singletary and Harris. Singletary and or Harris with potentially Godwin for a monster. Talking Gibbs level. Najee and Godwin for a Gibbs level player. St. Brown level player. MHJ level player. And worst case scenario, Singletary for Worthy. I also like that. Singletary and Harris. And I'm sorry, Singletary and Andrews or Harris for, I'd be tempted to go after Laporta, injured Laporta. Andrews and Singletary for Laporta. I wouldn't give up Godwin in that one. Najee, Harris, and Andrews for Laporta. Why not? I'm all about buying Laporta on the cheap right now. He's got an ankle injury, but Stroud, Connor, Jacobs, St. Brown, Pittman, Pollard, Bench, Akers, Naylor. How do I save my season? You're 0-3. I don't know. No offense, bro, but this team is, for a 10-man team, Puka on IR is definitely what probably sent you in this direction. But that's a tough squad. There's not even tradable pieces on the squad. You're going to have to hit the waiver wire like a monster. I don't think, Pollard and Connor for one, ETN. Connor and Pollard for ETN. Pollard and Pittman, or Pollard and Naylor for, jeez, bro. I'd try for an ETN. I'd try for, you have Jacobs already, damn it. Rashee Rice I'd try for. I would trade Pollard straight up for Worthy. I would trade Naylor straight up for Tank Dell. Those little moves could be good. Those are two of my favorite buy low players for people that can't afford, big pieces. And that squad is definitely rough. I don't even know how else to attack it, on a glance here. I'm trying. Those are the two moves I can come up with. Full PPR, no tight end flex. Kyler, JD5. Kyron, Walker, Eckler, St. Brown, AJ Brown, Evans, Godwin. Great team, Devontae Smith. I'm definitely trying to consolidate. Eyeing Chuba or Allen on waivers. I'd rather have Allen. Chuba's okay right now, but for Jalen Warren, I'd take Allen. Definitely a league-winning potential. Scary Terry on the high wouldn't be a bad idea. Godwin on the high wouldn't be a bad idea. Walker and Godwin for a potential Achan or Gibbs. Walker for Jacobs. Do you have to throw in something? I don't know if I'd throw in like Godwin or Devontae Smith, but it depends if they threw something back. That could be the answer. Also, if this is a non-super flex, then one of Kyler or JD5 with Godwin could get you that like MHJ type player, but I don't know that you need receivers at all. So running back is kind of what the key, I think, upgrade would be here. So one of your quarterbacks with Walker for a Gibbs and Achane, a Kyron or Bijan would be pretty solid. Got offered ETN for Metcalf. It could go either way. If you need a running back, I like it. If you need a wide receiver, I like it on both of those sides. That's pretty damn even. MHJ, let's see here. Sharps, Mason, Wilson, Andrews, MHJ bench. Right. 0-3 feeling down. Yeah, Allen's, I mean, losing with Allen's tough. Mason's been fantastic, but he had a bad game. How do you lose with Allen and Chase? He must have been facing a monster opponent. Andrews, MHJ, man. I like this squad. I mean, Deontay Johnson, and let's call it Deontay Johnson, and I don't know if you can go to the Walker owner. Deontay Johnson and Charbonnet for a slight wide receiver upgrade or equivalent running back. Deontay Johnson and Andrews for Laporta, injured. That could be a crafty move. 0-3 is rough, but man, it's a good team. It's a really good squad. Don't be too hard on yourself. This one from Michael. Appreciate you. I donated 20. Check for a team referring trade Adams and Rome. What would be your cutoff to trade for lowest CD, Lamb, Amon-Ra, Bijan, Saquon, JJ, Tyreek, Nico? Nico, I don't know if we already handled this. I think we did. I think, Miko, we already took care of this, I think. Any moves to make? Yeah, I went through this. $20 hauler. Appreciate that $20 hauler, by the way. But what would be your cutoff to trade for the lowest? So regarding Adams, let me read this again. Worried about running back, wide receiver. Okay, so Adams, I think you're maybe referring to my advice, maybe. I'm trying to read this. What would be your cutoff to trade for lowest CD, Amon-Ra, Bijan, Saquon, JJ? I mean, Adams is not going to get you any of those guys, if that's who you're asking. Adams and Rome probably won't get you. It'll maybe get you Amon-Ra, Adams and Rome, and I'd take Amon-Ra. It would maybe get you Bijan from somebody sleeping at the wheel. Probably won't get you Saquon, but you could try. I obviously take every one of these guys for Adams and Rome, but I don't think it's going to be easy. Maybe Tyreek Hill. Nico, I would take Nico over Adams and Rome. I'd take Nico. I'd take Tyreek Hill. I'd take, obviously, every single player here, but I think you're going to be most effective trying to get Tyreek Hill, who's a gamble, but it's worth taking. JJ, try, but you probably won't get it. Saquon, you could try, but you probably won't get it. Bijan, you might. So yeah, maybe you can get that. It's doable. People are pretty pissed off at those guys. At Bijan. People are wanting to get rid of Bijan. Stroud, Carr, Mason, Kyron, ETN, Sharps, Walker, grab anyone else. Drop Juwan Jennings, Isaac Garendo, Hubbard, or Komet, Steele, P. Ryan, Wright, Corum, Brown. Upgrade tight end, cute. I don't know. Drop Juwan. Can't drop Juwan Jennings. You can't drop Garendo if you have Mason. Hubbard's tradable. I would trade before I drop Hubbard. And Komet, I'd try and trade him. He had a big game. Steele, P. Ryan. Probably Chase Brown. If I had to drop one player, Chase Brown. If I had to drop a second player, I guess it'd be Komet, even though he just had a big game. If I was forced to drop. But Mason, Carr, Stroud, Kyron, Charbonnet, Cup, Nico, very good team. Nothing I'm doing here, honestly. Dell and Reed are so sufficient to replace Cup until he comes back. I guess I'm so happy with Etienne and Mason. I don't even need to get rid of Charbonnet for something, but I certainly try. So if somebody's willing to buy Sharps thinking he took over the job, maybe they'll take that gamble, like Sharps and Cup for a MHJ who's not injured. Carbs and Sharps and Cup for Amon-Ra St. Brown because he's not injured. Like, would I sacrifice Kupp with that Charbonnet? Absolutely. Would I throw in Reed with Kupp in order to get that non-injured wide receiver that's equivalent, like MHJ? Absolutely. That's probably where I'm taking that team if I'm like trying to cook up trades. Jay, appreciate you. 2 flex, 12-team PPR. Mahomes, Kyren, JT, Jacobs, Jamar, Chase, Worthy, Ridley. What moves should you suggest? My brain's getting mush at this point. Would you have done Kyren for Neighbors or Amon-Ra? Look, they're all really good. I mean, Kyren's like the number 1 or number 2 running back in fantasy football, so I probably wouldn't trade Kyren for, those guys straight up. I traded Diggs today for Jacobs and JSN. I like that. I think that's a good move. And honestly, this team's really good. It's really solid. Jamar Chase, JSN, Worthy, Ridley. I'm only trying to maybe trade Ridley and Jacobs for like one slightly better like Gibbs type player. And that's it, Jay. I'm holding that team. You did a really good job. You got good depth. I think I ride that into the sunrise. 0-3, AR5, Bijan, Kyren, MHJ, Rice, Parkinson, Devontae Smith. Great team. Ridley and Smith for one better player. Potentially past that, I'm sitting on this team. And I guess I believe in AR5 enough, unless I can trade Devontae Smith with AR5 to get like a Mahomes, to get a Hurts. To get out of AR5 in that context, sure, at that cost, I definitely would. But that's probably it. Ridley, to do that would be worth it. Past that, I love your team so much. I'm not worried or panicked. You have all the players I like. JD5, Terry, comeback victory in my other league. Kyler, AJ Brown, Marv, Ridley, Jennings, Pearsall, Monty, Stevenson, AK, Irving, Sharps. Trade ideas. Probably say Juwan Jennings on the high, Ridley, AJB, like any combo of those 3 wide receivers to get into a safe playing St. Brown, a safe playing, potentially Gibbs ETN type player. Stevenson and Ridley for that Gibbs player would be unbelievable. And honestly, like Charbonnet, I'd throw Charbonnet in because his trade value is like not going to be there for very long. AJ Brown and Jennings for a St. Brown or equivalent, because AJ Brown's out. You can't get St. Brown straight up. You're going to have to throw in a Juwan Jennings. I'd do those trades. Trade Wilson and Stevenson for Achane. I'd take Achane personally. Sorry for the confusion. Answered it perfectly. Thank you, Miko. Don't apologize. Sometimes I'm behind, and so I'm sorry if it took so long to get to it. But hopefully I did answer that right. If I didn't, just let me know, Miko, and I appreciate your super chat. Bijan owner needs wide receivers. They traded Adams. Need a running back. I have Najee, Allen, Brian Robinson Jr., CD, Cup, Nico, Debo. Who should I offer for Bijan? I'm keeping Nico. I'm keeping CD. Brian Robinson Jr., I'd trade him. Cup and Brian Robinson for Bijan. I'm not sure that would get done. Najee, throw in Najee. I'd do all that for Bijan because he's playing right now. How about the trio? Or at least Najee and Cup for Bijan, which might actually get done. You might be surprised. Let's see here. 0-3 said, stand down last week. Do I make any moves? Hurts, JD5, Bijan, Brees, Kyren, Wright. Very good team. Worthy, Tank Dell, JMO, Keon. I mean, unless you can trade like Hurts or JD5 probably more than Hurts right now, to a QB needy team, and in turn you upgrade like Scary Terry or JMO into a Marvin Harrison Jr. or St. Brown or Tyreek Hill or Nico. Those would all be fantastic moves for you. I love those trades for you. Nico especially. What's good, Smith? I won last year, 12 team, 2-1. Josh Allen, CD, DK, love it. Jennings, great job. JMO, McLaurin, Kenneth Walker, Steele, Braylon Allen, Najee, Kincaid, Mostert. Good squad. Maybe Jennings and Walker right now for one better player. Jennings and Najee for one better player. And you just go down the list of Tyreek Hill, Collins, Garrett Wilson, MHJ. running backs. Even ETN and ETN, you're going to give a little bit less than you would for Jahmyr Gibbs or Achane. I'd throw in even something to get the Achane or Jahmyr Gibbs trade done. Rhett, appreciate you. 10-team Murray, Jacobs, Sharp, CD, MHJ, JMO, Pitts, Bench, Cup, Waddle, K9. I'm probably trying to trade Brooks and Waddle for a monster. Brooks and Waddle for St. Brown. Cup and Brooks, even especially because Cup's not in the game, for St. Brown or higher. Jamar Chase is out. Gibbs is attainable. Sharps is easy to throw in. Jacobs and potentially even Brooks and Cup, all those guys for a big monster. I think Achane and Gibbs are my favorite running backs to buy. And if you're going wide receiver shopping, it's MHJ. Rhett, appreciate you for the super chat. This one's from David. David, thank you. Bijan owner needs wide receivers. They traded Adams. I need a running back. Okay, yeah, sorry. Bijan owner receivers. So I answered this one already. Thank you, David. Appreciate you. And if I missed anyone's super chat, can you please drop a bunch of dollar signs and say that I missed you. You missed my super chat, and I'll go look for it right now. But please let me know now because I won't know later. 10-team PPR, 3 wide receivers. This is the last one. So if I didn't read yours, I missed it. So please let me know. 10-team PPR, 3 wide receivers. So screwed. What do I do? Lamar, Hill, Evans, Antonio Pierce. My brain's fried. Alec Pierce. Don't start Antonio Pierce. He screwed up the draft. He's no good. He's not going to score you any points. Goddard, Kirk. Good job on Goddard. Kirk, Kenneth Walker, Mixon. This one's tough, bro. Lamar, Evans, Hill. I mean, with Kenneth Walker and Mixon both hurt, you can't really upgrade them right now. You could try Cup and Mixon or Cup and K Walker for an ETN or higher is possible. Evans, I'd probably keep Hill and Evans. I don't know that you're going to get enough for him. I keep Lamar. Your trade components here are unfortunately sell low on Kenneth Walker or Mixon, but you're able to couple in Cup, throw in a Pierce, couple in Cup, throw in a Kirk, and you're just trying to get that one RB, and then you're just going to start the other one. Okay, thank you for the super chats. Thank you for your super chat. Trade Ayuk for Nico Collins. Of course, bro. Come on, it's the easiest question I've been asked all week. That's easy. Let's see here. Tight ends are a disaster this year. Should I sit this team or make a move? Hurts, ETN, Kamara, Amon-Ra, Devontae Smith, Freiermuth, Dell, Robinson, Spears, Benson, Reed. Should I sit on this team or make a move? Hurts, ETN, Kamara, Amon-Ra. I mean, I think I probably sit on this team more than I do anything. Reed's good. Reed's gonna be able to replace Devontae Smith very easily. If you start 3 wide receivers, Dell will be fine. Benson will maybe gain some value. I'd maybe trade Devontae Smith hurt with ETN to get Gibbs or Bijan or Achane if you can do that. Past that, it's a very, very tough, I think a tough maneuver to do anything else, to be honest with you. That's a tough one, bro. That's a real tough one. But I like the squad. I don't hate it. I think you could roll into the remaining part of the season and just bank on those wide receivers. That's a really good squad. It's not bad. Don't be disheartened. Check DM. Thank you, Rock Out. Appreciate you. And final super chat. And again, let me know if I missed any super chats. Just put a dollar emoji. This one here, 0-3, 12 team Hurts, ETN, Pacheco, Metcalf, London, Dell, McBride, Irvin, Sharps, Wakonki, Dowdle, Judy, Benson, Bigsby, any moves. Probably say Hurts, ETN, Metcalf, London's pretty good. Dell, McBride. There's not a lot of trade value here. The only guy you could sell even remotely high is Metcalf. That's it. So Metcalf for Jacobs and a receiver I don't know, you can get a high enough wide receiver that even makes sense for it. But, you know, I'm trying to think of like a DK type that's undervalued or something like a Rashee Rice was at one point. So Metcalf for a downgrade into Worthy or Dell, and you get Jacobs. You know, so go to the Jacobs owner. You already have ETN. That's my other buy low. I go to the Jacobs owner. Go to the Mason owner. See if they got a wide receiver like Worthy or Dell that you could get thrown in for a Metcalf trade. Past that, you have no players that have trade value right now. Doesn't mean they're bad players. There's just no trade value. Traded Zamir White and Keon for Ayuk and Steele. I approved that, but I try to flip Ayuk the first chance I get, and it's good value for Ayuk, but I don't like him. Sorry, my question I was trying to ask, should I grab any of those players on waivers? The players on waivers were after Walker, and who should I drop? Let me try and find your message again. Hold on a second. If you guys can try and put the question in the newest super chat, it makes it a little easier. Let me see if I can find it. I think this is it. So the question is, if you just re-ask it again, it's a little easier. Question was trying to ask, should I grab any of these players on waivers? The players on waivers were after Walker. Okay, so grab anyone else after. Okay, so Juwan Jennings. I got you. Okay, so would I cut any of these players for Juwan Jennings? You know, Parkinson was trash. I'm not saying he will be, but you could always cut him or drop your kicker again. Do the kicker move. Drop the kicker and pick up Jennings and decide later. But you have Mason. You have to have Garendo. I don't know what you do. Try to trade Sharps to the Walker owner. You know, I mean, drop your kicker D, pick up Garendo, pick up Juwan Jennings, and then I guess try and execute some 2-for-1 trades. But I would definitely try and get Sharps. Oh, you have Walker. My brain's fried. My brain is completely fried. Completely fried. I think I have all the questions on screen for this message. I think that's a duplicate. Okay. Walker. I try and trade Walker and Sharps, I guess. Walker, Sharps, and Cup for lamb chops. You got lamb. Damn it. I can't even cook up a trade for this. Drop your kicker and D, pick up Garendo Jennings, and then we got to go from there. That's the only thing I can say right now with certainty. My brain is completely fried, but I do know that. I may not know much about geometry. I may not know much about astrology. But what I do know is drop your kicker and D and pick up those two people. Got Reed and ETN for my Shaheed and Zach Moss Zamir. Got Reed and ETN for my Shaheed and Zach Moss and Zamir. How? That's a great trade. Fantastic job. What wide receiver can you trade for Walker? Probably not Rice, but I'd try. Probably not DK, but I would try. Let me pull up my rankings at thefantasyfootballshow.com. See if I can cook up a potential wide receiver or two for you. But that's tough. Walker's hard to trade right now because he's injured. You know, like Worthy's. I like Worthy and Dell, but you need to get more. But I'm just saying, like, those are players that are going to soon have value too, and people don't see that. An injured Debo, an injured Cooper Kupp, an injured A.J. Brown for Walker. I do that. Waddle, who's very doubted. I do that. Olave, no longer probably available for that. Ayuk, I suppose, if you want to take a little bit of a gamble on the 49er train right now. Improve my 10-man PPR redraft, please. Lamar, Achane, Kyron, Rashee Rice, Amon-Ra, Kelsey, Keon Najee. I'm not going to touch this team other than you're waiting on Debo, which he's fantastic. You know, I guess I would maybe trade Najee and Kelsey for, go get Laporta injured. That's it. Look, this team is fantastic. I don't want to trade Lamar. Trade Najee or Debo to upgrade Lamar into Mahomes. That's it. That team is phenomenal. I'm not touching it. Amy wants to pick up Walker from waivers. The question was, who does she drop for Walker? Okay, I'm sorry, Amy. It was kind of worded confusing, but my brain is mush. Thank you, Superfish. Amy, I think sometimes you put too much in your question as well, just so you know. It make it a lot easier to break down, I think, if there was less in it. Let me see if I can find. Okay. I would say Amy wants to pick up Walker from waivers. The question was, who does she drop? Anyone else? So, Walker, grab anyone else. Am I getting this right? There's just a lot on the screen. I know it's late, but I don't understand. All these players also on waivers? I assume that they are. So, who to drop from above for Walker, or do I like someone else here? Is that what's being asked? I would say, I'm sorry if I'm misunderstanding. I guess I drop. Look, I drop kicker. The advice still stands. Drop your kicker in D, and maybe even drop Colby, and you figure out your tight end situation later. And I'm picking up Walker, Juwan Jennings, and Garendo, and then I figure it out from there. That would be my advice. You're still going to need a tight end. If you don't think you can pick up an equivalent to Parkinson, then maybe you got to hold him and just do the kicker in D. And you got to pick up Walker. You probably have to pick up Jennings for right now, then make a trade, then grab Garendo. However, I'd be a little fearful. I'd rather just do the 3 players and drop Colby if you think you can pick up another tight end later, because I'm fearful that this news will have people racing to get Garendo, at least if not right away, at some point. I don't know if I still don't know if I got it right. I don't know. Superfish, appreciate you. On that note, I think I'm going to end the night because my brain is mush. Thank you, Eric, for the super chats. Thank you, Amy, for the super chats. I'm sorry if I screwed up the question. It's not your fault, but sometimes a little less in the question will help me, especially at the end of the night. Appreciate you all. I'll see you all tomorrow. I'm out of here. Code Smitty on Underdog Fantasy. Links in the description. Thank you all. Appreciate you. Did I get Amy's question right? Hopefully I did. I don't know if I did. Did I? If I didn't, Amy, put it in the comments. Ask another way in the comments. Put a bunch of dollar sign emojis around it, and I'll find it. Appreciate you all. See you all later. Oh. Congrats, all you AR5 monsters, you.
There are 2 5s? JD5? AR5? There can't be.
Oh no. They're gonna cross streams.
Get it up. Go get your JD5 on. Get it on. Scoring touchdown. Balling out. Running, juking defenders. Stand on business. This is how we kill this. This is how we go. Get your JD5. JD5 to the moon. Get it.
There are handfuls of Saturn, Mars, and Moon men, but only 8 can be supernovas. I give you the 8 best picks in fantasy football.
They are the 8 supernovas. They are the 8 supernovas. The hateful 8 supernovas.
I'm looking at the 8
Supernovas.
The magnificent 8.
If Jinx wants to call in, if Jinxie Cat wants to call in again real quick, go ahead, Jinx. I'm not, you think I'm going to dodge you? You think number one, I'm worried about answering a phone call? Jinx, I'm waiting. Call in right now, Jinx. Phone line's open. We're waiting. A lot of people say that, oh, I'm trying to call in, and this is the way they save face or whatever. I'm waiting for you, pal. I'm sitting right here. We'll wait 30 seconds for him. Nothing so far. A lot of people claim they dial in, and they're not. They claim they dial in, but they're not. He said, I tried to call in. Nothing. Still nothing. No phone call. Tried to call in, huh? I don't think so. Later. Deuces. No, Tate. I'm not answering other phone calls, Tate. I'm waiting for Jinxie Cat. But he ran away. Still nothing. Tate, I don't have time. 20 seconds, Tate. Go, hurry.
I was wondering who I should trade. I have AR5 and I want to upgrade to JD5 and Jacobs because they have the same owner. And I was wondering if I should trade away Gibbs, just straight up Gibbs for the two.
Gibbs for what two?
For JD5 and Jacobs.
You got AR5? No, man. Just keep Gibbs in AR5. Roll at AR5. Don't be messing with that. Like, I get it. You want to be a part of the JD5 movement, but it's a little late to jump on board in that context. Just keep AR5 and let it ride, bro. In my opinion. All right. Later, bro. 940 caller. Is this Jinx?
No, it is not.
Well, bro.
I called in.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be Jinx or nobody. What's your name, bro?
My name's Trey. How are you, Smitty?
Trey from where?
From Texas.
Trey, what can I do for you?
Listen, I got a trade opportunity. So in my work league, 10-team work league, this guy went Josh Allen in the first round, and then he went 10 receivers in a row.
Okay, make it quick, bro. Make it quick. You called when you're not supposed to call. I need a 10-second question. Go. 10-second question. Go.
Do I overpay for a guy like Malik Neighbors, or do I go for A.J. Brown? Because I got Derrick Henry, and I'm thinking the one-for-one Henry for Neighbors.
Henry for Neighbors? I'd take Neighbors. That's fine. That's not overpaying.
Bet. I'm sending it right now.
Right, full send. Later, bro. All right. So anyway, Jinxie Cat didn't call in. He obviously didn't call in. All right. Later. Appreciate you all.